Hey, Kim.
All right. That's great.
Hello.
Okay, we're ready.
Hi.
All right.
Frank's
let's call.
Frank's getting his hair done. I'm outside the beauty parlor.
At least you're not driving.
No, not driving.
That's good.
Let's call this special meeting of the trustees to order. And we have new business to discuss.
Okay.
Catherine, would you like to explain?
Sure thing. So thank you all for meeting on quick notice. I greatly appreciate it. So earlier this week, I had sent you a summary of a grant that we're looking to apply for. So I'll go over some of the details that entail that application. So it is an application for a Rhode Island Foundation community grant. And our adult services librarian, Deb, and head of children's services, Meg, have been sort of putting their heads together, thinking about ways that we can make this summer work a little bit more as opposed to last summer. We were pretty limited and had really short notice with pulling summer programs together last year. And with the way things are going, we're sort of thinking that outdoor programs are going to be an even bigger part of our program slate this year. They worked pretty well, but there are some things that we could use that would help improve how we handle our outdoor programs. So last year, we mostly just had book club meetings outside and then outdoor pickup for our kits, craft kits and activity kits. And for the book club meetings, we were able to ask patrons to bring their own chairs or utilize indoor library furniture outside. Both of these are not ideal and they presented some challenges. I think that we want to make things as easy as possible for folks when they're coming for programs, and that it would be really convenient if we had some outdoor furniture outside for those programs already set up. For summer 2021, the staff are looking at doing arts and craft classes outside for all ages, doing the book club meetings again outside. We have the potential to do some story times outside. I think with gathering limits increasing a little bit and social distancing being able to happen on our nice lawn space, that's going to be a possibility. There is something that I've just learned about this week called a learning circle, and it's almost like a discussion group, and it's guided by a facilitator. And I think that is going to start to become part of our summer programming slate. And then also something I learned about this week called a book party. I don't have all the details on what a book party is, but it sounds like a party for books. If I can be so like, how do I want to say it? If I can be specific about it, a party for books. So one of the immediate needs that we're looking at for the outdoor programs this summer would be movable tables and chairs. So I think in terms of funding, it's not something that we would really want to spend library funds on right now. We are pretty tapped out as far as building maintenance goes, and as far as making sure our collection is in great shape and purchasing books and materials. So I think grants are a wonderful solution for outdoor furniture. This grant is due tomorrow, March 12th, and the staff members have a great idea of what that application entails. It's actually not an extensive application, and it is something that they are able to put together for tomorrow to be turned in. And organizations would be awarded up to $10,000. So I think we're going to request the maximum amount, if approved by you all today, of $10,000. Any questions so far? And then I can talk a little bit about our partnership. Yes, Carol.
I'm just wondering, you mentioned movable furniture, so I'm assuming this is going to come in the winter.
Absolutely.
Storage, where would we store it? Because we don't have a basement.
Yes, great question. So we are, how do I say, we're professional Tetris experts with our storage closets. And we can pack a lot of furniture into our community room storage closet. And also we have an additional storage closet that is actually right near the trustees room. EBCAP has utilized quite a bit of space in there, and they have not been doing programs with us for about a year now. So I'm going to ask if they would move their items out so that we would have room for this furniture. One of the other storage areas could be in the children's program room closet. We have some things that could be moved around in there that I think we could put some chairs in.
Oh, good. Good to know.
Can I ask a question?
Sure thing.
The furniture you're planning on getting, is it just chairs and tables?
Yes, and actually, with the discussion with Meg today that I had, umbrellas might be a good option too for some shade, if we're able to do that as well. So movable tables, chairs, and also the umbrellas, that would be easy to store.
How many are we talking about?
So I think as far as chairs go, between 20 to 30, and then tables, probably not as many, since most of the activities we have are like seated activities that don't need tables. So I think maximum of 5. They are still pricing out some of the furniture and trying to just make sure that what our partners have recommended is something that fits into that $10,000 budget.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
So are there certain chairs for adults and certain chairs for kids, or it's going to be picnic blankets? And is that a possibility for the kids?
Yes, I think we're going to focus on chairs that would suit both. And that would, so the bigger chairs would be our priority for the book clubs. Kids are a little bit more adaptable and can move a little bit more than some individuals who may need those chairs. So I think we're going to focus on the taller chairs first. But there are actually other grants that I would bring to you all for smaller chairs for children.
Is the our blankets possible? I know, I mean, it could be individual blankets if we're still doing that 6-foot thing.
Yeah, what I think would be a cool idea is if we actually utilized our Friends funding for that, because we could embroider them. And our friends have graciously donated to our programs again this year. We asked for less than we have in past years just because they didn't have their fundraisers, but they've sort of left that door open to say that if we have any special projects, that we would be able to come to them on that individual basis.
And Catherine, are you anticipating that the chairs would be lightweight enough that a single staff member could easily move them back and forth in and out, and probably on a daily basis, huh?
Yes, that's going to be key. Even the patio furniture that we have out on a normal basis on our West Literary Book Architecture Terrace, those are a little bit heavy, and we do stack those at the end of the night and lock them up. So I think we're looking for something a little bit more lightweight, like aluminum or even steel, I think would be a good option, which is one of the recommendations that the library architect had recommended. So. Okay, great. So I'll move on just to give a little bit of background about our partnership with Groundswell. So as you know, Groundswell Cafe and Garden opened last year down in Four Corners. And the foundation began to develop a relationship with them, and also the Friends did as well. That's actually where our staff lunch came from, that the Friends buy for staff members each December. And so Joyce Dunnigan, who is the treasurer for the foundation, had contacted them to see if David, the owner and CEO, could come over and, give us some tips about the types of furniture that we could use here. I mentioned in my summary that none of us are outdoor or landscape experts, so we like to refer to those experts in order to get a good idea of something that we could have here that would be low maintenance, easily moved, and altogether just a really good fit for the programs we're looking to do here. So David came over, and they've actually, we talked a little bit about if in the future, the additional grants that are available, if maybe it's something that we would want to put like a sunshade, like is up at Grinnell's out on the corner of the building, something like that. So I think there is the potential that tables and chairs for now could lead to something more like a more substantial seating area. Having something like fencing put up to keep little ones from bolting towards the parking lot or out towards Bulgamarsh. So I would like us to just envision right now for the tables, chairs, and umbrellas, and then potentially over the next couple of months, see if the additional grants that are available are something that we might want to look at to have some shade, more shade areas, maybe perhaps a pollinator garden on that side, and start to build up the northeast corner of the lawn there. The big consideration that we have and why we are looking to a landscape architect is because that is also where the septic field is. So anything that we have out there has to be able to be moved, has to be accessible by our septic company and also DPW should we need any maintenance over there. So that's where the experts come in, and it's been really helpful to talk to them about this project. And let me just check my notes here. So that's just a little bit about the background here. And if you have any questions, I am happy to take those.
I just have another question. Basically, from what you've already presented, it looks like it's not a permanent setup. It's more of a flexible type thing where you can kind of move things around. Because I was going to ask you if you had some sort of a plan of where the furniture was going to be placed, but from what you're telling me, it's going to entail more flexibility.
Yes, we'll have that flexibility there. And I think that it's going to work well because it can be used for so many different programs. And, you know, should we need to move those tables and have them in another area of the library, like say around the front of the building or on the west side of the building, that's something we're able to do. We're able to pick them up and move them. And I think that's one of the strengths that we have with our programs now is that they're very flexible. So we want any materials or furniture that we have to be that way as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what?
Okay, seems like we don't have any other questions. Do you need us to vote to approve this plan?
Yes, if you could vote to approve our application of $10,000 to the Rhode Island Foundation for movable outdoor furniture. So tables, chairs, umbrella.
Could I ask a follow-up question? Sorry, I usually don't ask a lot of questions.
No problem.
The grant that you're asking for, what happens if we don't get it?
If we don't get it, then we do not have tables and chairs.
I'm saying, no, in terms of
yeah.
the programs you're planning.
Yes, so that's a great question. So we would not have the tables and chairs. We would have to then ask folks to bring chairs if they were going to do something again. We would have to use indoor library furniture outside if we wanted to do that. The issue with that right now is just that our tables are very heavy. So it would just take 2 staff members instead of 1. So we could make do for this summer. But my backup plan is that there are numerous other grant opportunities coming up prior to our summer programs. So we would have the opportunity to apply to those. I'm actually attending a webinar next week, and OLIS is actually going to be doing grants between $10,000 and $50,000. And it sounds like those are going to come up pretty quick over the next couple of weeks. So we have plenty of options, and our staff will just have to be flexible and make adjustments if we don't get the grant.
Thank you.
And Catherine, when would you hear if we got this grant?
That is a good question. I believe we would hear by June. I'm not sure on the exact date on that. So that would give us plenty of time.
But how, or do you go ahead and apply for other grants to buy outdoor furniture?
Yes,
And then
we could do that.
Grants for outdoor furniture?
We could potentially do that. It might be beneficial to divide it by this being adult furniture and the next grant we apply for being children's furniture, so that if we don't get one or the other, then we'll at least have something. So I think that would probably be our best strategy for that, but I'm open to other options.
Yeah, and I suppose if you had, you could have multiples. So if $10,000, as you said, is some of the chairs, then something could be the shade area. The next grant could be the shade area, or maybe you have a mix of adult and children's chairs in the first grant, and you actually could buy more of that exact same mix.
Yes, absolutely. And we could do almost like a half and half for one and half for the other. The other option too is that at one time, I think this might have actually been when I first came on board back in 2018, the foundation had discussed potentially buying more patio furniture for the West Terrace where our current furniture already is. So if they were interested and you all had discussed with them if that were a possibility, that might be an option too.
As Ola said, what that 10,000 to 50,000 funding is for? Have they put in anything in there?
That's a great question. So when I read the summary, it said eligible programs and services. So
Very nice.
yep.
Well, I looked at the people who had, or the foundations that Rhode Island Foundation had funded. And it seems like Tiverton is it's their turn, because Little Compton's got something, Portsmouth, Middletown, I think Jamestown, probably Newport. So I'm thinking, hey, Tiverton is up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's I think it's great that you guys are showing the initiative to do that.
Yes. Thank you. And I also think too that going forward in more the long-term sense, we want folks to feel comfortable coming back here to the library. And, we have a long ways to go to get our visitors and our patrons back here. And I think having an outdoor space like this provides that extra level of comfort that they don't have to necessarily be inside to enjoy the library. And I think it is just going to be one of those pluses to our library here.
Actually, that's not a bad thing to put in if you haven't put it in yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm happy to make a motion to approve having Catherine and the staff apply for, is it a Rhode Island Foundation grant?
Yes, Rhode Island Foundation grant.
Grant for the purchase of outdoor furniture.
I am happy to second. All in favor, and as I watched the town webinar, I do need to call on everybody individually. Carol Herman.
Yes.
Kim Sutherland.
Unmute yourself, Kim.
You're muted.
Yes.
Sanford Mantell.
Yes.
Chris Ryan.
Yes.
Kathy Clarendon. Yes. So we have passed unanimously.
Thank you all very, very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes,
let you know
we'll
if any other opportunities come up.
I do have a magic grant wand, which I'm happy to wave after we end this Zoom. All right, anything else we would like to discuss? Motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
All right,